Feng Shaofeng plans to have a second child with Zhao Liying. In the Chinese entertainment industry, stories about the family of Feng Shaofeng and Zhao Liying have always attracted special attention. They were once the golden couple, then went through separation, but their names and images have never left the hearts of the public. And then, in a rare recent conversation, Feng Shaofeng unexpectedly shared his intention of having a second child. What touched the audience even more was the way his gentle gaze turned towards Zhao Liying, the woman who was once his wife, the mother of his adorable son. That moment seemed to freeze time. A tenderness that was hard to put into words lingered in the air, sweet yet filled with unspoken emotions. Since the birth of his son, Feng Shaofeng has changed a lot. No longer just a busy star, he became a father who always wanted to spend time with his child. Many times, paparazzi captured him taking his son for walks in the park or carefully holding him in his arms amid the crowd. He once shared, "Becoming a father is the most wonderful experience of my life. That child has taught me responsibility and what it means to love unconditionally." Perhaps it was the presence of his son that sparked an even greater longing, the desire for a fuller, warmer family, a home filled with children's laughter. During the talk, when asked about the future, Feng Shaofeng did not shy away. He smiled softly. "Actually, I've thought, if possible, I'd like to have another child. Maybe another boy, or a lovely little girl. I think my son would be very happy to have a sibling." It seemed like an ordinary statement, but when he spoke, his eyes inevitably stopped on Zhao Liying, the only one who could share such a dream with him. The audience was deeply moved by that moment. In his gaze, there was sincerity, regret, and a fragile glimmer of hope. Eyes can say what words cannot. When Feng Shaofeng mentioned a second child, his gaze betrayed a tenderness directed towards Zhao Liying. It was not the look of a colleague, nor mere respect, but like a silent message, "Would you be willing to try once more with me?" Zhao Liying, with her usual calm composure, only smiled. But within that smile perhaps lay emotions hard to name, memories of marriage, the joy of motherhood, and wounds not yet healed. Looking back, the public can easily understand why Zhao Liying chose silence. She once gave her all to marriage, once sacrificed for family, and ultimately had to accept divorce. Yet no one can deny, whenever her son is mentioned, her eyes always shine with gentleness. That is a sacred maternal love that nothing can replace. Perhaps, when hearing Feng Shaofeng's words, many thoughts stirred within her. On one hand, she understood his longing. On the other, she remained cautious with her own future happiness. Immediately after this interview, the media and fans were abuzz. Many believed it was a sign that Feng Shaofeng still wished to reunite with Zhao Liying. On social media, countless comments appeared. If they truly have a second child, it would be the most beautiful gift for the whole family. His eyes don't lie, he's still deeply in love. I hope they can reconcile, because the child deserves a complete home. Such attention showed that the public's love for this couple has never faded, even after their separation. Feng Shaofeng did not hide his pride when speaking about his son. He shared, "Every time I hold my son's hand, I feel stronger. He gives me the motivation to live kindly, to keep striving." It was this love that made him yearn for a bigger family, so that joy could be doubled. And deep inside, he knew, the one he wanted to build that family with could only be Zhao Liying. Sometimes, even fragile hope is still beautiful. It keeps people alive, makes them believe that one day, the cracks can heal. As the interview drew to a close, the host asked, "If given the chance, would you want to start over?" Feng Shaofeng was silent for a few seconds, then smiled, his eyes once again turning to Zhao Liying. "Perhaps. I've always hoped that one day, we could sit down together, share a meal, talk like old friends. And if fate allows, why not?" His words weren't loud, but they stirred millions of hearts. The story of Feng Shaofeng's intention to have a second child, along with the gentle look he gave Zhao Liying, opened many reflections. Was it just a fleeting dream, or a signal of reconciliation in the future? No one can answer. But clearly, their feelings, despite all ups and downs, have never truly disappeared. And perhaps, for the audience, just witnessing their tender gaze was enough to believe that love, though late, is still beautiful and worthy of cherishing. In the entertainment world, there are love stories that, even after ending, still echo. Amidst the dazzling stage lights and media noise, sometimes it's the smallest, most ordinary moments that move millions of hearts. Feng Shaofeng and Zhao Liying, once known as the golden couple, made many believe in fairy tales. They came together under admiring gazes, then parted quietly in regret. Yet, no matter how many years pass, whenever their names appear side by side, the public cannot stop reminiscing, discussing, and waiting. And then, in a recent talk, Feng Shaofeng surprised everyone by sharing his wish for a second child. Those words weren't merely a father's dream but a glimmer of fragile hope. Especially in that moment, his tender gaze toward Zhao Liying was like a light touch, enough to make millions of hearts tremble. Before having a child, Feng Shaofeng was always seen as a charming gentleman, a talented actor with a flourishing career. He lived fast, diving into major film projects, rarely pausing to think about family. But from the day his son was born, everything changed. His eyes now carried the gentleness of a father, and his smile had matured. He once recalled, "The first time I held my son, the world suddenly felt so small. There was only me and that child. I knew, from that moment on, my life no longer belonged only to myself." Even with a busy schedule, he tried to spend as much time with his son as possible. Paparazzi often captured him patiently walking with the boy, bending down to tie his shoelaces, or gently wiping sweat from his forehead. That fatherly bond, simple yet sacred, convinced the public even more that Feng Shaofeng had truly matured through fatherhood. During the talk, when asked about his future plans, Feng Shaofeng smiled softly. It wasn't loud, but there was hesitation and sincerity. He slowly said, "Actually, many times I've thought, if possible, I'd like to have another child. Maybe a little girl, so the family feels complete. I think my son would be happy to have a sibling to play with." His answer silenced the studio for a few seconds. Few expected him to speak of something so personal, especially given how his past marriage with Zhao Liying still carried so much emotion in the public eye. What moved people even more was his gaze when he said it. He didn't look at the camera, nor did look down. Instead, he glanced at Zhao Liying, the woman who was once his wife, who shared his happiest days, and the mother of his first child. It's often said that eyes are the mirror of the soul. And in that moment, Feng Shaofeng's gaze revealed everything. It wasn't the look of casual courtesy, nor the admiration of a colleague. It was the gaze of a man who had once loved, once regretted, and still longed to be together. That tender gaze seemed to ask, could we try again, just once more? It also carried regret. I know I let happiness slip away, but in my heart, you're still the only one. The audience, just by watching, could feel that quiet yet powerful stream of emotion. Many admitted with a lump in their throats, some loves, even when past, never truly fade. Zhao Liying, as always, did not respond directly. She only smiled gently, though her eyes seemed to flicker with a hint of unease. Having weathered many storms, she knew well that even one word could spark endless speculation. She chose silence, though surely countless thoughts stirred within her heart. She remembered the days of raising their child together, the nights when the whole family gathered warmly. Those memories replayed like an old film, bittersweet yet cherished. But Zhao Liying is also strong. Having endured pain once, she understands more than anyone the value of caution. To take another step, she would need certainty, not fleeting promises. After the talk, social media exploded. Hashtags about Feng Shaofeng and Zhao Liying shot to the top of trending lists. Fans were divided. One side hopeful, if they still have feelings, why not give each other another chance? The other cautious, love is beautiful, but it cannot return if wounds haven't healed. Let's wish them happiness in their own ways. Despite differing opinions, everyone agreed on one thing: Feng Shaofeng's gaze spoke for his heart. And although Zhao Liying said nothing, her quiet smile made the story even more poignant. Feng Shaofeng continued, "Actually, I think children need siblings. Growing up with companions makes them happier. Every time I see my son playing alone, my heart aches." Those words showed that he wasn't just thinking of himself, but of his son. It was the heartfelt wish of a father longing to give his child a childhood full of laughter. They say some desires don't need to be shouted aloud, just to look is enough to understand. And this longing, clearly, was tied to Zhao Liying. When the host asked, "If given the chance, would you want to start over?" Feng Shaofeng reflected, then smiled softly. Once again, his eyes turned towards Zhao Liying. "I think everyone hopes for a second chance in life. For me, family has always been the most important thing. If fate allows, I wouldn't let it slip away." Though he didn't mention her name, everyone knew who he meant. The conversation ended, but its resonance lingered. Feng Shaofeng's wish for a second child, and the tender gaze he cast at Zhao Liying, became a hot topic of discussion. No one knows what the future holds. Perhaps they will remain only co-parents, or perhaps fate will truly give them a second chance. But one thing is certain, in the hearts of the audience, that moment has been etched forever, the moment a man looked tenderly at the woman who was once his everything, softly confessing his longing to build a home with her once more. This is not just an entertainment story, but proof that love, even when unfinished, is still beautiful, still worthy of treasuring.